Going live. Gonna give people some time to join us. Thank you guys for standing by. I'm going to give people a quick minute to join us. I know we're starting a little bit late tonight, so thanks for waiting on us. Thank you guys for tuning in. If it's your first time here, hello, my name is Ku'uanoe. I am a 2016 graduate of the ACM program, and this is our kind of monthly talk story with our alumni to catch up with them, see what they're doing now, and hopefully learn from them, how they got there. Thank you, Mahea. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Today we have Manda Tong on with us. She is a Cybersecurity Program Specialist and a 2024 graduate of the ACM program. So let me get her in here. A reminder, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments, or you can use the Q&A feature and we'll get to them throughout. Let's see if I can add her in here. I hope any students, if you're starting your spring semester, that it's so people are busy. Let's see if you got that request, Manda. I'm going to keep sending her the invite so that we can get her in. If we do have any students tuning in, let me know what class you're most excited for, or for our alum who are watching, tell me what class you miss. If you could do a class again, one of your favorites, drop it in the comments. I'm currently teaching CM256 Creatives and Media this semester. And we're already started. We already kicked it off with a couple of assignments. I'm waiting to see how they'll do. They're engaging pretty well in our discussions. It is an online async class, so I'm excited to see what this cohort will produce. Manda, if you're not getting my invites, try request to join this live again, and then I can try to. Oh, there you are.
Hi, sorry, I had to change my permissions.
You're fine. At least you worked it out now. You're good.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. You got a nice setup there.
Oh, no, just the background of my bed.
Well, you have what looks like a nice chair, and your camera's like straight on. We can see you great. So I'm glad that you could sign in.
Yeah. I'm trying to see
Uh,
if I can see you. I feel weird not being able to see
oh,
you, but
are we
it might
set
be
up on?
me.
Might be the permissions thing. No kidding.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Are you signing in on your phone?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. And you can only see you.
Yeah, and it feels weird. I'd rather see both of us.
Well, can you see the comments coming in at the bottom?
I do.
Okay, so you won't feel so alone. I'm
Yeah.
here. You hear me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you could sign in. I'm so excited to get to learn more about you and just your experiences, and also this transition, because even just knowing a little bit about your story, you have a couple. So why don't we take it all the way to the beginning, because it wouldn't be me if we weren't going all the way to little kid times, okay?
Uh,
But it's really because I like to know, where your creative spark came from, where you first like knew or recognized that you wanted to do something in creative media. So when you were a kid, when you were growing up, what did you want to be?
I think I wanted to like be some kind of artist, like a comic artist. Like I was really
Really?
into manga growing up. Yeah, so I'm like, I want to do this. Like this is a job. This is so cool. Um,
Hmm.
but then I was like, oh, this is like I try to draw my own comic and it's like, oh, like when you kind of compare it to like the professionals, it's like, oh, this is not as good as the professionals. So
Oh,
then it kind of was like, maybe this isn't for me. But
no.
yeah, I really liked to draw when I was a kid, so that was probably
Oh.
like my first like dream in like the media space.
Yeah. I mean, first off, I can't draw. That's one of the things I wish I knew how to do. And I know we had to draw a little bit, right, in the
Yeah.
ACM program, and you'd think that would have made me better, but that's one of the things I would want to do. And also, don't you set your expectations way too high as a kid. Okay?
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
I'm gonna draw like a professional, you know?
I wanted to go from 0 to 100 like super fast.
Hey, I like that. Everybody has a dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Do you still draw though?
On and off, like I haven't drawn a lot in a couple
Mm-hmm.
years just because like I just don't have time. So like
Mm-hmm.
the skill has kind of regressed, but I really want to get back into it this year. New
Mm.
Year resolution, all that kind of fun stuff.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
an alum come on before. I think it was Jess. Somebody, if you've seen our previous ones, let me know who it was. But they shared that every year they draw like their year. So they
Oh, well,
have
that's
like a
super cool.
little, right. And I'm like, oh, that would be a good resolution. But then I have to learn how to draw first, is my other thing. So
Yeah.
I that is my New Year's resolution. I know from your bio that you um, actually went to school for something else and then came to the ACM program. How about you walk us through that?
Yeah. So Manoa, so I went to, so I'm from Maui,
Hmm.
and I was in robotics for my last 2 years of high school. So I was thinking like, oh, maybe I go in engineering. And then the more I did robotics, the more I was like, this isn't for me. But I
Hmm.
always like to draw. So I thought, oh, maybe I'll go into like art. And then I was like, oh no, art's too hard. I don't have a portfolio. I don't have anything really. Um, but by that time, I really wanted to do something in video game design. And at that time, I think when did I go to Manoa? 2011 or
Hmm.
2012. Manoa had a video game course.
Hmm.
So I was doing like my liberal arts at UHMC, and then I was going to transfer to Manoa to do that. And so I had emailed the Manoa people, the professors of the lead, and said like, hey, do I need a MacBook? Because one of the requirements was a MacBook, and I'm like, oh, I have a PC. Is that okay? And they emailed saying, oh, we're getting rid of this program. You can't be.
Oh.
Um, and so I was gonna minor in English anyway. So I just
Hmm.
kind of bumped up English because at that time I really liked writing stories. So it was like, oh, okay, I'll just fully go into the English course. So that's how I ended up with English as my first bachelor's. And I graduated 2014, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
that was my topsy-turvy how I got my first bachelor's.
Yeah, 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 yeah. How about, I mean, first off, that's crazy that that happened. And we're kind of similar actually because I started at West Oahu
Mhm.
as a English major and then I
Oh,
picked
okay.
up creative media. Just because I like you like to write, but
Mhm.
for me I was like, I don't know, like I wanted to apply to something. So tell me about how I mean, did you hear about the game design program at ACM and thought, I'll go back to school?
Yeah, so after I graduated with English, I went back home on Maui, did a couple retail jobs, got into a nonprofit space for education. But
Mm.
I really wanted to like get back into like how do I learn game design? And at that time, it was really hard for me to like figure out how to learn game design by myself. Just like with I didn't like come to me to be like, look on YouTube for tutorials. It didn't occur to me to do that. So my friend was actually at school at West Oahu, and he told me about the video game course, and he said, oh, you should apply. And I tried to apply. I tried to take a few classes while I was still in Maui because they were virtual, but with my work schedule, it just didn't work out. And so I just said, okay, I'll just fully move to Oahu in January 2020 and then just go from there. And that's what happened.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow, wow. That's what I mean when I said at the top that you've had a lot of transitions and a lot of pivots,
Yeah.
especially moving to Oahu in 2020. first
Yeah,
off.
that's nothing happened. Nothing bad happened.
Right, like it was normal or
Yeah.
Wow, that's okay. So you move out here for your education for another bachelor's. Also, Mahia clocked it. Good for you,
Yeah.
multiple bachelors.
Yeah.
But I'm happy for you that you went back to school, because it was something that you wanted to do, something that,
Mhm.
at first, was a blocker, but opened back up for you at West Oahu. Can you tell me about your time and maybe, I mean, maybe we already know the answer, but maybe what was your biggest challenge coming back to school in 2020 in a new program? Tell us what that was like.
Yeah. I felt weird, honestly, because like at
Yeah.
that time I was like 29, 30 years or like 30 years old. So I felt weird as like an older adult coming back to school,
Hmm.
which I really shouldn't have because when I was
Hmm.
working at UHMC in the library position, that's when like we were still coming out of the 2008 recession. So there were
Hmm.
just a lot of older adults there. So, but they're also like shy, like, oh, I don't know what to do. So I just kind of like pivoted back to that. Um, yeah, it felt interesting because especially because I was in like the education space as a job, I I knew like the back end kind of like
Hmm.
how professors and teachers kind of like build curriculum because I helped a teacher do that in my previous job, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I can see like this like the gears working that I didn't have this knowledge when I was doing English.
Hmm.
So I think that was an interesting part. I think the hardest part was when we transitioned to like fully virtual. I really
Yeah.
miss like getting to like talk to people in classes.
Hmm.
That was a really strange transition, I think, for me because I was just so used to, seeing people like the same people in the program over the classes. But
Hmm.
I'm really bad with names and faces if I don't like see you constantly. So like seeing people and meeting people and not having that connection was really hard, I think, for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
especially because you had experienced it, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, so you know what it was like. Wow. I
Yeah.
have a quick question though. Did you move back to Maui to when they did virtual online?
No,
Oh,
so
wow.
when I transitioned, I actually got a job here
Mm,
um in January. I started in January too. So, I think the week before, because I think we went on lockdown during or like the week after spring break. I was in my office during spring break. My super came around to everyone and said, "Hey, you should take your laptop home with your charger."
wow.
And I'm like, oh, is it really that bad? And she's like, yeah, it's really that bad. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then they announced that, everything was closing up. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we've just been doing it ever since.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow, what a crazy. I mean, the fact that you moved here for school, you got a job, you were ready, right? And then had
Yeah.
to transition back online and completely not only experience college again, but in a completely different way than you had before is wow, a feat, honestly, that you did. And I know that even still today, right? I was sharing earlier that I'm teaching CM 256 this semester,
Mhm.
and even still, they feel the effects of not having been in person for so long and coming back. I mean, it's really, um, it's, it's life
Yeah. I mean,
changing. We all live through something life changing.
yeah. I mean, like, because you graduated through ACM when it was in person, right? So
Yeah,
getting like to see
yeah.
behind the scenes must have been like interesting and weird for you to like figure out how that works too.
Yeah, well, every time they're like, "Oh, I can understand now why a lot of the students might want to be in person because I can't imagine my experience not.
Hmm.
And not seeing even some of my classmates that are in this live with us, and not having been able to create those connections, especially with teachers and all of that. So, that I can see why that is hard, like a hard hump to get over. I want to go
Yeah.
back to something that you were saying earlier too about being a quote unquote non-traditional student and definitely not feeling you're never too old to learn something new and chase your dream. Okay.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
kudos to you for doing that. I mean, especially because for so long you knew you wanted to go into game design. Was there any class or project that you worked on in your time at ACM that you're really proud of or you feel like you learned a lot from?
Yeah, I think two of them. So
Oh,
the first was I think the music class we had with Professor Fo Mai. It was like the final where you had to like do all the Foley work and all the music for like a really long piece of media. Um, it got like he made that class super, super fun and super interesting, and I learned everything new about that because I have a really bad like ear for music and sound. But like learning all of that was super cool and figuring out like where to get sounds for that was really cool, and it made me almost transition to learning about music, but then I was like, no, 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 like music is not for me. I do not have a good ear for like music stuff. Like I was like, no, that wasn't it. But so that was like one that I was like super proud of. Like I was really, really happy when like I finished it, and like it was like, yeah, it was really cool to like see the finished
hmm.
product and like knowing the behind of like the Foley and sounds and how to do all that stuff. Yeah, that was really cool. Um, the second one was probably like the pre-capstone, and it's probably because of like my English background of writing 10 plus pages. I I haven't written that much of like a non-professional paper since for like a couple years. And I don't like writing rhetoric. I don't like writing real life stuff, but writing that felt easy for me just because of my topic. So I was able to like pull in like I was able to like revisit a bunch of my favorite games. Um, and so like going on that journey was really cool. But yeah, I think just writing 10 plus papers like pages again was super fun for me. Um, yeah, that's just like yeah, that's just a nerd in me.
I
I
mean, I like the two examples that you've shared. What was your pre-capstone project or what was your capstone project?
um nostalgia in video games. So like
Okay.
you learn like using nostalgia as like a video game device and how and like the characters and yeah that informed like my capstone, which I also enjoyed doing, but the just writing again was super fun. And I don't know if you can like um kind of experience that too because you were an English major, or like you originally was an English major, like writing just a big piece. And yeah, I don't know, like I
Yeah.
used to not like writing because I used to have to write like so many 5-page essays in
Mm-hmm.
English.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of miss doing that. But I'm glad I only had to do it once.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't, let me tell you, I haven't written in a long time. Like with like in the
Mhm.
test book even, like I'm trying to go analog this year though. That's one of my like goals for the year
Yeah.
is I'm so used to type, like writing and typing, and I used to work in news, so I'm used to writing those kinds of stories.
Oh,
I
okay.
have not done a 10-page anything in a long time.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Last year I wanted to get like a digital notebook,
Oh,
which like,
yeah.
and they're expensive. But
Oh.
my friend kind of like enabled me to get one because he was getting one. And so, but like writing like with like not paper and pencil, but that feeling is like super cool.
Yeah,
So
that's nostalgic.
if
No.
if you want to like go back to pen and paper, but also have it be able to be digital, recommend that. But they're also very expensive.
I'm gonna look this up after
Yeah,
we're done talking because I'm interested. It's
yeah.
like
There's
a
it's
yeah.
like a
I
digital notebook.
I think we have a question here. Mahia says music and Foley is key to video games, so I feel like your desire to want to know more about music and sound was feeding the video game design dream. True?
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about video game design, I think for me, is like there's so many different things about
Hmm.
it that come together. Like I just love learning behind the scenes stuff. Like, and I actually watched this morning, like of someone like breaking down a video about like a Disney like movie, And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. I
Mm-hmm.
do not have the ear for this. I would have never thought about that. So that's why I didn't
Mm.
go there, but like just learning about it is super cool. So yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
really like that.
Mm-hmm. I feel ya. And knowing like the behind the scenes and how things are created, I love to know those kinds of things, especially
Yeah,
because I think we take for granted that we have all of these things. And then, especially behind music and movies and video games, there's a whole team creating a whole world and a whole
yeah.
experience. And it takes a lot of work, and that's why it's so cool to watch it. So I definitely relate. I want to know a little bit more about your what you're doing now, and
Hmm.
how you got into cybersecurity. But before I ask you any questions, I'm going to give a reminder to everyone watching. Um, if you have questions, if you want to ask Amanda anything, please drop it in the comments or in the Q&A section. Maybe before we transition out to your career and what you're doing now, what is
Hmm.
something that you wish you knew when you were in college, this maybe the first or the second time, up to you, or something you wish people told you?
I think now, well, either way, like I think it worked more for my first degree, but
Mhm.
just like join clubs. Um, I was very like homebodied and I didn't want to do anything outside of school. I was just like, I'm doing my homework, I'm reading, that's it, and hanging out with my friends. Um, like it kind of transitions to like what I do now, but like I wish I joined more clubs. I wish I was more outgoing, I guess. But I
Mm.
wish I joined like more extracurriculars. Or and like just networking in groups. Just knowing what I know now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is it that you know now?
Um, it's just networking.
Yeah.
So I think it'll feed to like what you asked about what how I got here. But I'm in education now. I work at UH Manoa as a so my title is cybersecurity special like program specialist, which essentially means I do educational outreach. And I work with a lot of like student clubs, especially on Manoa, but we're like expanding to the different other UH colleges. But everyone who gets like kind of a foot in joins clubs
Mm.
and gets those opportunities firsthand. Um, and I wish I knew about it more. I didn't know it was more outside of just like your school or like the club itself. It's connecting with like professionals outside of school. So that's why I wish I joined clubs when I was at Manoa. But
Mm.
it is what it is. But that's what I tell students that I talk to nowadays. To just
Yeah.
like, hey, join a club. Like, yes, I know you're scared. I was scared too. I regret it. Um, and you know, it's nice to see like some of the students who I say that to actually join the club, and I get to see them regularly.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so it's just
Yeah.
do it scared.
That's first off, that's great. That's great and powerful advice. Do it scared because
Yeah.
I think that, well, first off, shout out to you for plugging clubs because I think, and especially even some of the students that I have in my class, they're async online. They don't even live on Oahu, right?
Hmm.
So a lot of them take classes from Maui, Molokai, and it's hard to create that community and that networking
Yeah.
um, and then like, we're on our computers all the time, creating, so it might not feel like we have to go outside of our bubble. I know earlier you were saying that you were more of a homebody, that you were, I don't know if you said that you were less outgoing, which I think is a lie from how we're chatting right now, but how you got any advice for other homebody students who are like, oh, I know I have to go out there, put myself out there and meet people and network, but I'm scared. What would you say to them? Just get out. Just get up.
Just get out.
Put some
Like
clothes on. Yeah.
this is, I mean, this is me after like 10 plus years in kind of
Mm,
like the education world as a profession. Because if I didn't transition to what I did now, like I would have said no to this interview. Like I'm trying to get
mm,
out of my bubble. I did a lot
yeah.
of I did a lot of talking last semester for my job that I was like, okay, I just gotta do it scared. I just gotta do it. Um, I think if you're comfortable, like join Discords, especially if like it's just typing. I'm trying my best to be more active in like Discords just to get that network, and it's it's hard because like we live in Hawaii. Like it's kind of like our groups, we only have so much versus like, the continent or like globally, we don't have as much like companies in creative media as, you know, California, for example.
Mhm.
But if you just talk to people and you're nice to them, they'll and you start like that's like networking. Like one thing that I learned is just like networking is just making professional friends. And then once you get past that part, it's just like, oh, you can actually become friends, and be they'll just tell you things that would never like cross your mind. Like I just talked to someone on Discord last year, and I just said, and in the introduction for one Discord, I said, "Oh, this is my favorite game," and someone said, "Oh, they're actually doing like a book club, but like video game club of
Oh,
like playing
cool.
the game."
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, do you want to go? Do you want to like come into this Discord?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll try and be." I'm trying to like be more sociable
Put
like on
yourself. Yeah.
Discord.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just and I've seen his name a lot too, as like a game writer. So I'm like, oh, that's really cool because like and I told him that like, oh, I've seen you and I've seen your profile and I hope, you have a job too. And yeah, it's just
Mm.
like one of those small things. Just get out there and just start talking, do it scared. I'm still
Mhm.
trying my best to do that.
Yeah. It takes practice.
Yeah.
Every time you put yourself out there,
Yeah,
is good
exactly.
practice. It's
Yeah.
good practice. Charlotte said, one would never know you're so personable.
It's years of practice and years of my my current boss right now just kind of like volunteering me to do a lot of things.
Mhm.
And because I feel like she like other people will know you better than you do in certain senses. And like,
Mhm.
and she said, and my boss is like, "Oh yeah, you can do this." And I'm like, "I don't think I can." And she's like, "Yeah, you can do it. You have to do it." And then she leaves me and I'm like, "Okay, I guess I have to do this."
Yeah.
So,
You're locked in now. No kidding.
yeah, I'm locked in, yeah. But I'm really
I
grateful for it.
Yeah, having somebody, well, first off, I think your story alone is really inspirational. Great advice to go to Discord because I know, like, everybody's on it already,
Yeah.
so why not try it in a way that, lets you put yourself out there in a space that you're already familiar with, and then, that'll grow maybe,
Yeah.
it'll grow into wherever you're working like yours has. And then also having people who support you and
Hmm.
back you up and push you to do those things that might be uncomfortable but are helping you to grow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just you just need to have like at least one person in your corner, and then this for having them force you to do stuff. It's
Mm.
scary, but it's fun.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people in this chat, maybe, or in our past alumni talks, will say that if you feel like you don't have anyone in your corner, Charla is in your corner for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I want to know a little bit more about your career now, and I'm grateful that you already shared with us a bit about your role and what you do. And honestly, I can tell that it must be so fun to learn from you, honestly, because you do make it, even in this chat, it definitely feels like you're fun to learn from and listen to at your presentations. But how did you transition into cybersecurity? How did you find this job?
So my previous job when I was on Maui was in like STEM education. I got
Oh,
hired to write grants, which again, like I don't like writing rhetoric, but and I hated writing like argumentative papers, which is essentially what a grant is in my eyes. Um, but my current boss, we were at a conference together, and she was t saying we were trying to make plans on what to do like for 2020 before everything happened. And I said, "Oh, I'm planning on moving to Oahu, so I won't be in this position." And she offered me the job, and I was like, "Oh,
wow.
okay." Yeah, to do like the program with UH. So I said, "Oh, okay, yeah, like I'll think about it." And I said yes. Um, but it was like a cybersecurity grant,
Yeah.
and every like everything that I learned about cybersecurity is like really foundational. But I could like learn more about like tech. And even though I told her like, oh, I have an English degree, is that okay? And she said, yeah, you're writing the grant and you make curriculum and you just learn along the way. And so I did. Um, and so that's how I kind of got the job. And then, with the lockdown happening, everything getting like canceled or postponed, we had to like shift to do like things virtually. And right now I'm like a big part of my job is like event coordinating,
Hmm.
educational events like the career fairs, um, like professional skills development, all that kind of stuff. Um, so it's kind of like a mess of things that I do right now.
You're jack of all trades, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I still wanna get into that video game, but right now it's just like, yep, this is where I am now.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have your, main job and then you work on other things when you can. I want to know for you if you have any advice for our students who might, I know we got a lot of seniors we got graduating this year, and I wonder if you have any advice for them as they look for jobs and, I think you might, and I think you might have something to speak to towards this is you might not find a job in, movies right away, and that's
Mhm.
okay. Anything you want to share with them?
Yeah, so I took a online course
Hmm.
after I graduated this with this degree, and I learned a lot from the professionals. And like like specifically, it was just like just do like for me writing. It's just like write anything. Like even though I
Mhm.
want to like write for games, they just said write anything because it's building up your portfolio, building things. So if you're like, whatever you make, whatever you want to do, just do like small projects for that. I know that I'm getting back into it and building up my portfolio again. Um, so just continue doing small projects and then like submit them. Like for me like for the writing pieces, like oh, there's like writing magazines, writing zines, all that kind of stuff to do. So just start small and just like continue working at it and start building it and start sharing it. And then yeah, just network. It's
Mm.
yeah, I don't I think that's where I'm trying to get to that is like build a portfolio with like, smallish games, smallish things to like highlight what I like to do, where I feel like my strengths are, and then just go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Not, Charlotte said, we found our alumni event coordinator. I mean, truly, we'll talk about it. No.
You're gonna have to give me a heads up on that.
Yeah. Did you hear that, Charla? That's a yes. No, I'm kidding. We are, I mean, we're trying to coordinate more a little bit amongst the alumni because I have so many of you who come on here and share your stories and experiences, and it's fun to talk story and catch up. But doing it in person would be fun,
Yeah.
So this is me giving you a heads up. No.
I agree. Doing it in person is just so much more fun. Like you get it's
Yeah.
a different energy than doing virtual. Like I like the
See?
in-person energy.
Yeah, same. And it's more than it would just be it's more than just me and you.
Yeah.
It's our classmates and it's our
hmm
friends and the network that we build. It would be a
Yeah.
lot of fun. But
Yeah.
I like the advice that you're giving about, just do something,
hmm
continue to hone your craft and whatever you're interested in because one, you'll never know when you'll pull it out, right?
Yeah.
And you never know when an opportunity will come around. So it helps to, shake off the rust a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Like, with this position, I get to meet a lot of like tech people,
Mm.
and just knowing about and them knowing about spaces that I had no idea existed. So that's
Mm.
why just networking is super crucial, especially because we're in Hawaii. Like everyone knows each other in Hawaii. Like you just have to
Truly.
find those people.
Truly.
Yeah.
That's true, truly. And a lot of the people that you might know are your professors,
hmm
your contacts at work, your classmates. Just the network is so extensive, and you're so right. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they'll know someone that you
Someone
know, and then
who
they'll just connect it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Is there anything that you've worked on in your professional career now that has taught you anything or you're really proud of or stood out to you, or anything that you've done now that you're like, that is something that I learned at ACM. Thank God I learned that.
Yeah. I think we had to take a social media class,
Oh,
and I'm really bad social media,
same.
but with with my job, they're like everyone's like, "Oh, do you have a LinkedIn? Oh, do you have an Instagram?" And I'm like, for like what we do, and I'm like, "No." And I talked with like one of my colleagues about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we should do that. I don't know how to do that though." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess that's on me." So I'm slowly doing the LinkedIn. I'm slowly doing Instagram, but I'm like I'm really bad at it. Like I don't post like personally, so I just have to find things to post on that side.
Hmm.
But taking what I learned from that social media class, it's that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
figuring things out. And I was just like, I'm not made for this, but it's really just the two of us, and he's not gonna do it, so I just gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that goes back to, well, that's how the ACM program really is, right? It sets
Mm,
you up for a foundation of all these kinds of, pathways and routes. And like,
yeah.
yeah, I've used InDesign before. I guess I can make this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think
Exactly.
there's that. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you mentioned the social media class though, and I wish you a lot of luck in doing that, because that goes back to you being a jack of all trades, using the things that you know and just making it work in the position that you got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah, especially because a lot of professors and people that I meet, I see them doing like Instagram and all that kind of
Oh.
stuff, and I'm like, I don't know how to make things exciting. I I don't know about pictures. I write, but like I'm very technical when I write for these things because I'm very just like information based.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
so I'm
mm-hmm.
trying to figure that out. But it's a work in progress. It's just to get the word out.
Yeah, true. And you have
Yeah.
that foundation from ACM, so it's not like you
Yeah.
don't really know. You got to
It's just
start. You got
yeah,
to build.
it's just not the things I'm super comfortable with, but you just
Yeah.
gotta do it scared.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I love that. That's our greatest takeaway, and probably the headline of our chat today, because
Yeah.
that's a really powerful, powerful quote. I wanted to ask you, but before I do,
Mhm.
my last plug, if anyone has questions for Manda, please put it in the comments or drop it in the Q&A feature. I only have a couple of comments. I only have a couple of questions left, so we won't be online too much longer. So if you got them,
Mm,
let us know so we can ask now while we're live. Um, I know that you said that you've been writing and that, it's not that video game design or video games are going away, and
mhm.
you're going to keep working towards that goal and that dream. But if you could do any project, no limits, all the money in the world, all the time in the world, you don't have to work anymore. No,
Uh-huh.
my
The
dream,
dream.
truly. No,
The,
yeah,
the the dream. No, you're right.
my
It's the
dream,
dream.
honestly. If you could do it, what would that project be?
Like a anthology of books. Just like this
Really?
yeah. Like I think after like comic artist, like I think my dream would be like to just be a writer and just like get money off of that and just build like this like really large collection of just like writing books. Um
Mm,
yeah, just I have like a very lofty dream that's in my head right now about a story and how I can like weave it through like all these stories, but it's a lofty dream for a reason. Would love to have it as like a video game, but that
cool.
also might be a lot more time consuming. But
Mm-hmm.
if I have all the time in the world, that'd be like, yeah, just telling stories. Like I love that.
I was going to say, Amanda, you are a great storyteller and telling your story right now. And I can tell from all the things that you're sharing that you really love to write. So shout out to us English majors, first
Yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah. We
Trying
don't.
to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now we just need to like tell people to write and read and just absorb information. Like it's
You're
reading will get you so far. It really will.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. One of my goals for this year is to read more actually, because I forgot how much I loved to read as a kid
Yeah.
and how like how amazing the being able to read and get lost in another world is. So I feel ya on the creating, being an author and just being a writer, creating an anthology. I don't want you to spoil this for us because I know we're going to see it in real life, and I know
Oh,
Charlotte's we're all going to buy it one day. So I don't want you to tell us the storyline or anything, but
uh-huh.
thank you so much for sharing that dream with us because I really hope that that happens.
No,
Is
thank you.
there, yeah. I know
Getting
that
there.
I know that Charlotte dropped a question. Do you use any video game development skills in your job? You had mentioned gamify in your bio.
Yeah, so going back to like creating camps, it's for grades 6 to 12.
Ooh.
It's to I've learned if we can make a game out of something, like by with learning, it makes the kids learn a lot better. So, finding ways to make things a competition. I don't play multiplayer games. I play single player games, but figuring out how to like make it competitive really pushes students to learn without them realizing it, and it's really fun to have them figure out that they're learning. Like, um,
Surprise, you're
yeah,
learning.
surprise, you learn. Like it's like kind of like Kahoot, and like them figuring out like I got it faster than you and I got it right. Like for middle school students, it's just like, yeah, you did it, you learned, and it's like it's in your head now and it's repetitive. Um, so that kind of like gamification for me. Um, but also teaching them how to code. So I'm not the best at coding. I'm trying to figure out how to program and code. And something just clicked like this past week when I was like relearning how to code. But if I can teach it, it kind of reinforces it for me. Um, and just answering their questions about coding and having them like work through it really helps me figure out like not necessarily game design, but like reinforcing that what I know is what actually is right and how they learn it. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, uh, I'm trying to figure out ways to make things super fun for kids, but also I
Hmm.
have to, with my job, I have to be like, okay, I also have to teach you this. I can't just give you a game and you learn nothing. That's not my job.
Right. We need the outcomes. We need the
Yeah,
standards.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
I like what you're saying about being a teacher though and working in education and that like every time you teach it and share it with your students and the kids, you're also sharpening like what
yeah.
and your skills. So that's super beneficial as well. Can you give us an example? I mean, I like how you were kind of describing how you have to gamify these things. Can you
Hmm.
tell us about like maybe a program or a game or a camp that you worked at where it was maybe there was a moment that felt really gratifying for you?
I think just all like so I used to do summer camps. And we're getting
Oh,
back into the groove this year for it. But just seeing the students like figure it out and going from having them go like from frustrated to having like a light bulb moment is
oh.
really fun. Um, I will say like I don't know if you got this when you were studying English. Like I didn't want to go into education. I knew I wouldn't be a good teacher. Um, I'm not a I like those a couple of days I have students is just enough for me to be like, yes, this is enough time for me with
This is good
students.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I didn't want to go into education, but here we are. Like in
Mm,
um but like just seeing like the light bulb moment for them is like super gratifying because I'm like, "Oh, this is why teachers are teachers." Like I get it. But
mm,
sometimes it's just like, "Oh, we're not in like a proper school setting, so it's like how
true.
it's a different like mindset, but yeah,
True.
just a light bulb moment. I mean, even having that as a student is super fun to be like, oh,
I get
this
it.
is
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. Like this is why they're teaching us this.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. From the student perspective and from the teacher
yeah,
perspective, those light bulb moments are really, Yeah. Charlotte said capstones.
Yeah, capstones. Yeah, it's because we're actually one school I work with, they do like a end of camp presentation, and none of
Oh,
the students like it. Like they hate presentations, and the teachers are like, "Yeah, you're gonna do it anyway." And I know that when I was their age, I would have been like, "I don't want to come anymore. I don't want to do this."
yeah.
So I get their struggle, but it's so rewarding when you like look back, when they're like in college, they're like, "Oh yeah, I can do a presentation. It's easy. It's easier
Yeah.
now." Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
for sure. For sure.
yeah.
I wonder for you, is there anything that's really inspiring you right now? Maybe a person or something that you read, something that you're writing that's making you feel like really inspired in your work or, your next project that you want to work on?
I have too much.
I love it. Share all of it. No, I love hearing other people's inspirations because I truly do. After we talk, I truly do like look it up because I want to see
Uh,
too.
like I'm still inspired with like K-pop Demon Hunters. Like I thought that movie
Stop.
title was so silly, but like knowing the background of it, it's just like, oh, this is really cool. So I'm like still neck deep in that. Um, I'm reading a book now, um, that it's like a murder mystery, and I
Oh,
guess I've like since so like Knives Out came like the third one came out last month.
yeah,
I
I
really
love
like
that.
yeah, I really like that series, and I was like, oh, there's that, and then there's another Netflix movie called The Murder Thursday Club,
Oh, I saw
something.
that one. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was like really deep into like murder mysteries. So
Uh,
the book I'm reading now is like a murder mystery, and I didn't realize it until I should have realized it because the way that Barnes and Noble's like read it out was um
recommended for you.
like
No.
it was no, it said like Knives Out plus like I forget what the
Oh.
second part was. And I'm like, I really
Hmm.
like Knives Out. So I'm reading that
Hmm.
and I'm like, oh, I almost like because I read before I go to sleep. And so I almost
Hmm.
like I have to stop myself from reading before I won't sleep.
I like, yeah, yeah, true. I'm
Yeah.
up all night.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't
Ah,
like there's just I don't know. I try to find inspiration in everything.
yeah.
I don't really have like things that don't inspire me.
Oh,
Yeah, which is
that's
really nice. But
nice.
yeah, I'm glad that we
Yeah.
have like similar taste in things because there's just so much now.
Yeah, no, truly. First, I want to follow up on a couple of the inspirations that you've shared. K-pop Demon Hunters, I'm here for
Yeah,
it, okay? I'm
yeah.
old, obviously, so
I mean, same here.
I wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this, but I've watched it several times because for me, I find something different in the story that
Oh, that's cool.
and that's really inspiring, I felt like. And also, I just saw Kelly Clarkson sing what it sounds like, and I'm like, oh, I love this actually. So I feel you on that one. The second one, I really like that you brought up the murder mystery. Side note, do you watch The Traitors?
I don't. Is that on? What
Okay.
is that on?
It's on Peacock, and the only reason why I
Okay.
asked is because it is kind of like a murder mystery game show, you know?
Oh,
And I
okay.
think yeah, they get
I got.
murdered.
I got.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta look that up though, because I didn't think I would like murder mysteries, but if they're not real, it's fine. If it's fake,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. We're not watching documentaries. Yeah.
Yeah. No. No, we're watching fake stuff.
No, 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 no. We like the fiction murder mystery.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. But I like the connection for you because I also love Knives Out and I've also been watching The Traitors and I like it because it's basically a game, right? Like murder
Uh-huh.
mysteries are like
Yeah.
game and the game for us is to figure it out,
Yeah.
through the writing and like
Mhm.
through for the show, like through the video cuts and stuff.
Yeah.
So I definitely see how your interest for murder mystery kind of merges the gaming love with the writing, passion.
Yeah.
That
I
totally makes sense for you, actually.
like I mean like with Knives Out, I mean like if because you probably watched the first two, so we're kind of
Yeah.
like in the sense of like you know what you're trying to look out for, and I tried not to do that when I watched the newest one. But I'm
Ah,
like I can't help it. It's like how does that like you like you definitely know that this is a plot point, but like how are they going to use it? And it's
Right.
just yeah, getting there. And yeah, it's just so much fun now. Like I didn't realize how much I like murder mysteries, but it really, I think it is like figuring out where things go and how
Yeah.
things happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Figuring it
yeah,
out. Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
And it
If
like,
is your anthology going to have some kind of mystery element? I hope so. That'll get me hooked. I don't know.
I haven't thought that far through it yet. Maybe, maybe not like a murder mystery.
Maybe not murder. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
Oh,
don't know.
oh, okay. No
We
kidding.
have to, I'm still trying to figure things out with that. Like if,
Yeah.
yeah, if we had all
It's
the time in the world, it would be great.
truly, truly, truly. But I hope that, I mean, I know that'll come together. Of course, everyone here at ACM supports you in creating
Mhm.
those things. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody, but I appreciate everyone signing on
Mhm.
and dropping their comments, dropping their questions. If there's nothing else, is there anything else that you want to share about your ACM experience or any shout outs you want to give as we close out tonight?
Um, yeah, just do things scared.
Hmm.
Just and keep learning. Like I wish I knew how to like what my learning style was
Oh.
back then. But yeah, just figure out how you learn and then go from there. I
Mm.
mean, yeah, that's yeah, just keep learning. I don't
Yeah.
think I'll ever stop learning, and I think that's the beauty of like where I am now, and
Mm.
where to go from there. So I really appreciate this conversation.
Oh, me too. I'm so
Yeah,
glad that we met and we talked. Not
yeah, I
Charlotte.
know.
I will contact you for coordinating an event for us. Charlotte, hold on, hold on.
You're gonna scare me
We have
away.
to be mysterious. Yeah. I so appreciate you for coming on tonight. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Don't forget, this live is going to live on the ACM profile. So if you're not already following us, make ssure that you do it. Maya said 2026 mantra, do it scared.
Yeah, do it
Seriously,
scared.
what a way to start off the new year. Thank you for that. Yeah. If anyone has anything for us, even if you have more questions for Amanda, obviously she's going to be tagged in this post, or you can drop your kudos in the comments afterward. Make sure you're subscribing to the ACM newsletter as well, because that's where all of our updates come in. Man, wishing everybody a good semester, and you too, Amanda. Wishing you lots
Yeah,
of luck in the things that you're planning for your students this year.
yeah. Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy beginning of the school semester. Like that's a
Seriously.
scary time. But you guys can do it. It's easy.
Truly,
You guys
I'm
are
so scared.
it's easy. It's
But
easy.
I
We got
have to do
this.
it scared. Yeah.
Yeah, we got this. It's easy.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And thank you, Amanda, for coming on. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Aloha.